Hey everybody, it's Jason with All-Star Welding, back at you with another exciting video. And you know me, of course, it's about the Vulcan Outlaw 195 welder generator. Well, I noticed the other day when I was out on a job that every time I shut it off, there was a lot of rattle and shake and a lot of noise. And it turns out that the muffler is falling off again. This will now be the second time that I fixed it. But this time I'm going to put some blue Loctite on the bolts, and I'm going to show you how it's done. Yeah, I'd say that's the source of all the noise. Okay, so to do this, you don't even have to take off the cover. Everything that you need, you can get up under here. The hardest part is getting this off. This is the cover that goes over the muffler. There's 4 bolts on the front and then 1 on the back, and those are 10 millimeter. And then you need to take an 8 millimeter and remove this middle one, only the center one. You don't have to worry about any of these others. You just have to take off this center one. Once you get this out, the rest is a cakewalk, because if you look through here, see if I can zoom in. That's our 2 bolts that we're trying to get to right there. Okay, so I just used this long extension. It's a 13 millimeter to get these 2 off. And let me see if I can get in here. That's what you got right there. So it's not really that hard to get to. If you got some ratcheting and wrenches, it would make it a lot easier getting these back ones off. But so I'm gonna run to the store and I'm gonna get the 2 bolts that I've got missing off of this piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and get a gasket for that, and I'll get it put back together. Okay, so I've got the bolts back on. I got the blue Loctite on there, and there we go. I'm sure it's supposed to have a torque setting, but I really don't know what it is, so don't ask me. But I just gave it 2 ugga-duggas, and that seemed tight enough. But the main thing was this bracket right here that goes on the side of the actual generator. With those 2 bolts missing, it was only being supported by those 2 bolts on the muffler. So this is probably going to be the last time I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to go online and see if I can find a source for that muffler in case anybody needs one, and if I find one, I'll put a link in the description or on the screen. See what I find. But so let me put the cover on now. Okay, so a little update about the process of taking this out. At the beginning, you know, I told you to take this middle one off, the ones on the sides, reach back here and get these 2, slide this off, you gotta take this off. When putting this back together, I realized that I couldn't put this back on and reach back here to put these new bolts in, because obviously the previous owner figured that out too, and instead of putting these bolts in, he just left it like that. So this is the support for the back of the muffler that's holding it on. Without this support, the whole weight of the muffler is on these 2 bolts right here, and that's why it kept coming loose. So I figured out that from the beginning, if you go ahead and take this cover off, it's 5 little bolts. They're 8 millimeter. Go ahead and take those off and take this off. You still have to take these 2 off right here at the top of this, but then you can reach up with an extension on your impact with 13mm socket, and you can take these off and the whole thing just slides out nice and easy. I wish I had known that in the beginning, but I guess we're all learning this at the same time. So now I've got the cover put back on. I've got my missing bolts back here on the back for the support. So now all I have to do is slide this in on these two studs up here, put some more Loctite on it, tighten it down, and then put these back in with 8mm. Once everything's good and solid in place, then I can take this little cover and put it back on with the 5 bolts that hold it on that are 8mm, and this project will be finished. So I hope that you watch this long enough to the end for me to tell you this, but this is a lot easier way to do it, and I didn't realize that until I was putting this back on, and I couldn't get these 2 bolts because it's right up against the generator, and that's what's supporting the weight of the muffler. But anyway, let me finish putting this back together. Okay, so there we go. We got everything put back together, and the muffler is nice and solid. It's not wiggling around like it was at the beginning, and we got this support. We got the missing bolts out of that support replaced too. So yeah, that thing is solid. It is not moving whatsoever. And so we actually did a couple of things. So we replaced the exhaust gasket, and we fixed the support, and what else did we do? Oh, we put thread locker on the bolts coming off the manifold. So I say this was a successful mission, and I hope I didn't mislead you at the beginning. I hope that you watched to the end to see the new and improved method of taking this off. I didn't mean to tell anybody wrong or mislead anybody, but you know, we're all learning this Outlaw together. So let's crank it up, see how it sounds. Wow. So I know it's hard to tell off this video, but it is running so much quieter. With that rear hanger not being hooked up or bolted down, that muffler was just sitting there shaking like this, rattling, making all kinds of noises, and eventually it just rattled itself away from the engine to where those two nuts on those studs on the exhaust let it come off, and man, it was getting so loud. And so we replaced the exhaust manifold gasket, replaced those 2 missing bolts on that rear hanger part, and this is I know you can't tell on the video, but it is very, very much quieter. It sounds like a real, you know, generator now. But when I shut it off, I wanted you to notice that muffler does not move. Yesterday when I was working on a job, when I shut the engine off, when it idled down low, that muffler started shaking, and then when I cut it off, that thing really shook like this. Yeah, I'd say that's the source of all the noise. So I'm so glad I did this, and if you got any questions, please comment, ask me. You know I'm going to answer your comments. And again, I apologize for the beginning of the video where I may have misled you about how to take off that cover. But when I was putting it back on, that's when I discovered a much easier way. Again, you don't even have to take off the outer cover to do this. If you did, it wouldn't help you any because you still can't get to it. So nice easy job. You're going to need 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and 13 millimeter sockets, 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter wrench, and an extension about this long. That's all you need. And I think that exhaust gasket was $9. That's cheap. But again, I appreciate everybody watching. If you got any questions, ask me, and y'all have a good weekend.